A record number of us are choosing to run our own business and be our own boss, according to new figures.
Yes, the Office of National Statistics says the number of people classed as self-employed has reached a record high of more than 4.5 million.
And there's been a sharp increase already this year. Between January and March, 183,000 people who are out of work started their own business.
That's roughly 2/3 of the total employment rise of 283,000.
So what is making so many people who want to be their own boss? Let's ask two of them. We're joined on the sofa by two people who have, for very different reasons, started their own businesses. Jane Hines, who set up a company making frozen baby food, morning, and Amy Varle, who runs her own property business, morning. Morning to you. Also, Ken Horn is a business startup advisor. Morning all. Amy, should we start with you this time? So why did you want to set up your own business? It's a tough thing to do.
It is. I mean, it's probably the toughest thing I've ever done in my entire life, but I think the positives really do outweigh the negatives. And becoming self-employed, you have the freedom to design your own life. And if you have like myself, I had a health condition, I had a young daughter, and I had all of these things that I was trying to fit into my life alongside my career, and it wasn't always possible to fit that around a 9-to-5 job. So I think becoming self-employed, I mean, it's given me such a great freedom. I'm now pursuing other things. I'm coaching other people who want to become become entrepreneurs, training people. I'm professionally speaking. It just opens up a huge window of opportunities for you. But no, it's not easy.
No, Jane, your story is, were you employed? You were in a job and you thought, do you know what, I want to do this?
Yeah, I was a chartered surveyor, trained as a chartered surveyor, and I was working full-time when I had my first daughter. And it was a real conscious decision to leave surveying, but I was literally working 7 days a week, really. Supposed to be 5, but really 7, and puring, cooking at night, and freezing the food. And I just suddenly thought, why isn't this done? Why isn't anyone doing this out there? So I sort of started to research it, really, and seized the opportunity, I suppose, and then left surveying.
Which is a big thing to do.
It's
and Amy,
a big thing to do,
you found a niche as well, didn't you? That somebody wasn't doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I spent quite a number of years working within local councils, within housing. I was actually homeless myself, going back years and years when I was 16, and that kind of naturally pulled me into that kind of field of work.
And you found houses for people who are difficult to find houses.
Absolutely, yeah. I spotted a little gap in the market of working for the councils myself, and I wondered, why are the councils not providing a service for these vulnerable people? So I decided, well, why don't I try and provide that service myself? So I now have a whole army of tenants that are my tenants that I look after. But it's it's going really well. We've worked with a number of local councils already, and they seem to be really pleased with what we're doing.
So Ken, you're a startup expert. I mean, a lot of people, it would appear, according to these statistics, are doing that. They're working for themselves. Now, there is a finite amount of work out there, albeit that the economy is growing.
Yeah, I think we need to read into the figures a little bit further as well. That given the time of year, we normally see quite a large spike in self-employment around the beginning of the new tax year. So I think you've got to sort of temper the figures in accordance with that. And also, I think it's fairly well documented that people are looking, or employers are looking to engage people on a self-employed basis more than they perhaps are on a full-time employed basis.
They don't like the commitment
because the market, and the economy is still unstable, and therefore, employers are a little bit nervous about re-engaging with employers on a full-time basis.
And the reality is, and I don't want to hardly mention it in front of you two, is that people who go and do this, a lot of them go out of business. It doesn't work out well. So what is your key advice?
Well, I think that's another important challenge facing the people that are in my community, is that whilst the number of people starting businesses has increased dramatically over recent years, but I think the next challenge, of course, is sustainability and survival, and therefore there's still a place. The job is not done. There's still a place to provide these people with the right sort of help and support for those businesses to carry on.
And what are your experiences so far about that support? I mean, what's been your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I was really fortunate in the fact that I went through the government startup loan programme, which opened up so many different opportunities for me. I became involved with Business Growth Hub and Business Finance Solutions, and they're organisations which have given me mentoring. I have an amazing mentor who I can't even put into words how much she's thanked me. I've been raving about her in the green room before. So
And Jane, and so and your top tip for people who think, gosh, I'm going to give up my job and I'm going to try and set up on my own?
It's definitely do some research and make sure your idea is a good one. But I also think persevere. If you believe in your idea and you've got a really good idea and you know it's a good idea, persevere with it, and loads of doors get shut, and just keep knocking them down and keep going.
Or opening the doors.
Yeah, keep opening them.
You can't
Don't
knock them down
walk through them,
completely.
just open them.
Oh, thanks all. Thank you very much for your advice.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.